It's the Pete Sousa Show. Sports, Pete.
Welcome to the Pete Sousa Show, presented by Slovacics, of course, our good friends at Daniel Stark Injury Lawyers, Extraco Bank, Crawford Austin Properties, the whole gang. We're so happy to have you, and we're happy to have the Fall Classic. The World Series starts tonight, so let's take you to New York, a conversation with Nick Pick. Nick is standing by, no bigger Yankees fan in the world, no more of a knowledgeable sports fan. I give him a nice intro here, too.
It's the Pete Sousa Show. Sports, Pete.
Fall Classic. Is it shaping up to be a classic? Tonight, Nick Pick is with us. Yankee fan, Major League Baseball. I'll call him an insider. Other people will disagree. That's fine. But nobody, honestly, Nick, nobody's got more knowledge on the game in my life than you do.
It's pretty crazy. Like I tell you this all the time. I watch at least a piece of all 162. So the fact that
162 Yankees games.
Yeah. Fact that we're in the big dance, man.
We're gonna make a deal.
Awesome.
If you say a player, I want you to say first and
full
last
name. All right.
Full name. Don't assume that everybody knows who you're talking about. Okay.
All right.
All right, so I do assume, though, you know what you're talking about when it comes to the World Series. First of all, Major League Baseball. How giddy are they about this match?
Oh, dude, this is all they could have asked for. You kidding me? This is like every storyline you could have ever wanted, all just wrapped up into the biggest series. I swear to God, Pete, it might actually be the biggest World Series of our lives, like hype-wise.
Yeah.
At least in my life. I mean, I'll be 31 in December, and I can't even think of I have to really go back to think about a bigger World Series. The only two that come to mind are the two curses, but even then, had the curses not been broken, they would have meant nothing. So this is truly two Goliaths for the first time in a really, really long time. For as long as I can remember.
And the Red Sox.
Huh?
The Cubs and the Red Sox.
The curses. Yeah. 2016 and 2004. But even then, Pete, the 2004 ALCS was almost bigger than the World Series.
Yeah. Well, it was. I mean,
it was the first time that a team had come back from 3-0 down to win a series. And it was they had already slayed the dragon, the Red Sox did, when they beat the Yankees in that American League Championship Series.
Did you take time to watch the Netflix documentary that just came out?
No, dude, I've not, but I've heard it's good. I've heard it's good. What, Game 7, right?
Why won't you watch?
I don't know, whatever. I don't watch TV.
Don't you watch documentaries or anything?
Just sports, just live sports. That's about it.
Right, you've come to the right place. Your breakdown on this matchup, take me inside the way that you're looking at it as a Yankees fan. Is there fear? Is there confidence?
No, man. I woke up yesterday and I felt really good. And then I woke up this morning and I still feel good.
I didn't know. Are you starting tonight?
Yeah, I could give you 35 if you need it, right? A lefty that can throw 78 to 82 out of the pen, I can give you that. No, I feel okay. I don't feel like we're overmatched. I don't feel like the Yankees are in a bad spot. I think the Yankees have you break it down into like three big categories: starting pitching, relief pitching, and the lineup. Um, and I think our starting pitching has like a really big advantage over the Dodgers starting pitching. Flaherty's velocity was kind of like down last start, Jack Flaherty. Yoshinobu Yamamoto, you don't like, do we know what we're going to really get from him? I'm not too sure. Um, After that, they have Walker Bueller, and Walker Bueller has been hurt and not great until his last few starts. And then the Dodgers are going to have to throw a bullpen game. So I saw somewhere that like the pitching matchups were lined up. And if this thing gets to game 7, the Dodgers, who spent $1 billion in the offseason, are going to have to rely on a bullpen game to win the World Series in game 7. And I mean, like, I think that's probably the biggest decided advantage in the whole series.
When you say a bullpen game, you mean they're going to have to just scrap together like 2 innings here, 2 innings there.
Yeah, the old Johnny Holstaff. Like, that's gonna have to be what it'll be. And it's crazy to think about. Like, the Dodgers spent so much money, and yet everyone on their starting rotation got hurt, so much so that they need to pitch like a relief pitcher times 9 to get through this game. And I mean, God forbid the Yankees get to one of their starters and tax that bullpen early, like game 1 or game 2. The Dodgers have a better bullpen for sure. I think their arms are better. They have more strikeout potential. And the Dodgers lineup, in theory, has more talent and probably is a little more balanced, whereas the Yankees would be relying on a pretty top-heavy lineup. But Freddie Freeman's ankle might be still kind of banged up. Like, how healthy is he? And Freddie Freeman out of that lineup certainly shortens that a tiny bit. But I think we're in for like a super good series. I feel like both teams are playing well at the right time, and it's going to be awesome. I'm super pumped to watch.
What is your level of fear as a fan regarding Ohtani? Give him on like a 1 to 10.
Like, if he comes up in a big spot, how fearful am I?
How fearful are you of him?
0.
Really?
I don't fear Ohtani. Like I don't know. I just would Dodger fans say that they fear Judge or fear Stanton?
Yeah,
No, you just pitch smart, and you try to make good pitches, and he's going to get you. Obviously, he's too good. But if you make good pitches and pitch smart, at best he can succeed 3 or 4 times out of 10.
Do you? I love the scheduling of the series, by the way. How it's back to back, break, back to back to back, then break, back to back. Like,
I just hate the 3 in the middle. That like really, I think, in my opinion, decidedly helps the road the
home team,
the lesser team. Yeah. Because the lesser team will have 3, 4, and 5 at home. So if you can steal game 1 or game 2 in the opponent's ballpark, then you have 3 at home, and it like makes you feel really good about your chances. You
have insight on why they still do that? I know
I have no idea, dude.
Well, I know it used to be because there was so much media covering the games that it was for the travel, because they didn't want media to have to go back, forth, back, forth, back, forth.
But what separates that from like the NBA Finals?
Look, that was the old school mentality. I don't know. Has baseball ever done?
Yeah, dude, but we all know that baseball is like the last to do anything that modernizes the game, because God forbid we make anything better in our great game.
How much better has the game of baseball been this season with the pitch clock?
Well, last year they had the pitch clock too, but it's just dramatic. It's so much more fun and interesting to watch.
What is the Yankee player who you are most excited about watching?
Oh, well, I'll give you a couple. I mean, like, I'm obviously excited to see Judge, so that feels like the cop-out answer. It's like the best player in the world getting a chance to play in his first World Series. Yeah. It's awesome. I'm excited to see, honestly, like, who I think is the most important player on the team is probably Gleyber Torres, because if he hits, the Yankees offense goes. But who I'm most excited to actually see what will happen is Jazz Chisholm, of all people.
Why?
Because like Torres, if Jazz hits down in the 6 hole, the Yankees offense will be lengthened and will go. And I think he'll have some real chances to drive in runs and I think he's going to end up with pretty big at bats. And whether he hits or doesn't hit, I think will have a lot to do with whether they win the series.
When you look at this Yankees-Dodgers matchup, how much does the Yankees starting pitching concern you, if at all? Like
None. Oh no. Well, the bullpen concerns me, sure, because they didn't go get a guy at the trade deadline that has like, F you, here it is. I'm going to throw it 100, hit it. And the Dodgers have that. Like Blake Trinan is excellent. Ryan Brazier's been there before. Evan Phillips used to close for them and now like pitches in the 6th inning. I mean, they have a lot of guys who can just, and Michael Kopech, who they got from the White Sox, is like, they can all throw 100. And in the bullpen, you need strikeouts. But the starting pitching doesn't concern me at all. I think we are we have the better rotation. Okay. I think the Dodgers fans should be slightly concerned about having to tax their bullpen for 7 games. Now, if they can out-hit us, I mean, God bless. If they can out-hit us, then they deserved it. But Dodgers, you got to understand, Pete, like the Dodgers don't win games 3-2, 4-3, 2-1. Like the Dodgers beat the piss out of teams because they can hit. So I don't know. Like
it felt like the Mets never had a chance, dude.
No, well, we knew that. I mean, we knew the Mets had no chance. And I'm not saying it as like a cocky Yankee fan, but like, did we really think like the Grimace gang was going to beat the Dodgers? No, dude, come on. It was a great story. The Mets had a lot going for them, but ultimately the Mets didn't have that great of starting pitching either. Like the Mets starting pitchers at the beginning of the year, we thought they were going to be 500, maybe a tiny bit better. And then they caught fire and their pitchers like were really good. And then back in the NLCS, they got reduced to what they're supposed to be, which is not as good as the Dodgers lineup.
What is the Yankee fan base? We had a conversation yesterday here about fan bases are kind of becoming like lighter versions of themselves. There's no there's no grit. You were at a Yankee playoff game. Do they still have that in the Bronx?
I think Yankee fans are very similar to most New Yorkers in the sense that like we are craving winners so badly in our city that the minute somebody wins it, it's going to be like pretty dramatic. You got to think like there's not been a winner in the city since what, the Giants in 11?
Jeez.
Jets, Giants, Mets, Yankees, Rangers, Islanders. You can throw the Devils in there, I guess. But like, when is the last time a New York team won anything? So like, I think if New York wins
New York
a title,
Liberty, dude.
I know, but like, come on.
All right.
I think if one of the 4 majors, like New York is craving winners so bad that it would be over the top if they were to win it again. And I will tell you that when I went to game 1, I said this last week when we talked, that like the vibes were good. Vibes were good, positive, good. Everyone felt like we were doing okay. New Yorkers are funny because like the minute shit starts going bad, we all turn to each other and we're like, oh, here we go again, you know? Jesus Christ. They're back to the well with us, you know? But dude, I mean, I'll say a lot about the Yankees. I curse the Yankees when they do stupid things. Like I was pretty like revved up about the fact that they're in the World Series. Like, did I think in 2009 it would be the last time we'd see that for 15 years? Who knows if we go another 15 years without seeing it? And I don't know. I mean, I'm kind of enjoying it to a certain extent. Yeah, and I got a mindset where like if the Dodgers win, screw it, they deserved it.
And your fandom, because it really is about enjoying the ride. And it's been a lot of fun when your team takes you deep into the postseason. It's a lot of fun.
Dude, like when Soto squeezed the ball in right field the other day, I like turned to Shelly and I'm like, you know, getting emotional. I'm like, damn, we're back in the World Series. Like, we're here.
Yeah.
You know, all my buddies are texting me.
You were
in 2009. I was in high school, so that was 15 years ago. I was 15.
Oh, 15. Okay.
Wow. And I was at the parade. Huh. Yeah, I think I did an interview with Channel 4 or Channel 9. Yeah, like a little brief one.
Was
like,
Gary Apple?
Like, what are you doing here, kid? I was like, yeah, I was sick. Couldn't tell.
Dude, can we get that footage?
Oh, I don't know where it would be.
Hey, what about Brian Anderson? Did you like his call with?
Oh, dude, BA's the best, dude. That's like you could only dream to have a call as good as BA's.
See, some people, and I'm not
Would
saying
prefer the Yankees are winning the game.
nobody.
It
I'll
is
tell you what,
fun for every.
I heard a lot of stuff. You always get people trying to give like their analysis on one of the hardest jobs in the world, or I'd say one of the best jobs in the world. But everybody can always speculate how good of a call Brian Anderson had. But nobody was wishing it was Bob Costas. I can promise you that.
I'm telling you, dog. No one wants that.
I saw somebody. You and I were
Snooze
texting
fest.
the night they closed out the Royals. Some woman just tweeted out, "I did not have you guys canceling Bob Costas on my bingo card." Because the last out, if you remember,
Yeah,
he sort of said goodbye.
he the funniest thing about Bob Costas was that like he basically treated Giancarlo Stanton like he was like your old grandpa who needed to get taken out behind the woodshed, shot in the head. And Stanton's been like the best player in the playoffs. And every time he came up, Bob Costas would be like, Stanton is old and slow and cannot run.
Dude,
And then he hits a 450-foot moonshot, and Costas is shutting up in the booth.
What about the bring it back to bacon he plays with Aaron Boone in the bottom of the 9th inning? If I'm a Royals fan, this is an elimination game. I'm losing my mind.
Yes.
Like, and I believe, like he kind of fueled like because again, I've gone on record here. I love Costas, and I'll take him almost over anybody. But that's just because I'm an idiot and I romanticize about being a kid. When it comes down to the way he called the game, it was almost like he gave an FU to everybody. Like he was like, I don't care. I'm doing it my way. I
don't care that you all are really hating on me right now. Right.
Yeah,
I love it. You gotta love a little self-importance. Take yourself too seriously.
So Costas is a bit of a badass. His dad was a gambling degenerate. His dad died early. Bob never knew. I think he grew up in like Cleveland. He was never quite sure like what kind of mood his dad was coming home with or how much money. And he said when his dad died at the funeral, some who was described as like a mob guy came up to Costas and gave him a big envelope, said, "Your father was up." And that was yeah.
That sounds like out of Sopranos, huh?
Game 1, 8:00 tonight, Eastern time, 8:08. Your thoughts about the coverage of the World Series? Are you excited for Fox to have it? Are you excited for Joe Davis?
Joe. I mean, they're so good. Smoltz hates the Yankees, though. That is for sure confirmed.
Oh my
Dude,
God, Nick.
Smoltz got his ass beat by us like throughout the '90s, and then a little bit of the time when he finished in Boston. Smoltz, like, very famously, does not like the Yankees. And Joe Davis is their play-by-play guy, by the way. The Dodgers.
Oh yeah.
So, let's not get it twisted. It's not Michael K on the call. All right. No. No. I wish it would have been hyped up. Actually, if I'm being totally honest with you, I wish it would be hyped up a tiny bit more. I think Fox clearly has the better broadcast just from resources, and they've been doing this a long time now. So I'm excited about that. Joe Davis is just like admittedly excellent. I'm kind of being a jerk, but like Joe Davis is excellent, and he and Smoltz are a good booth.
They're an amazing booth together.
Yeah, they're awesome.
This is that ESPN thing in Charlotte where they kind of like talk to us about college basketball and.
How was that? Sick.
It was awesome. But they used Joe Davis and John Smoltz of all people because they're like, we don't want to do any basketball. People are calling you guys out and say how great you are. But they used those two to show how excellent they were.
Joe Davis is awesome. And I think obviously it's going to be a great broadcast. It'll be great no matter what happens. The calls will be good. I just personally, selfishly love Brian Anderson. So I could have been down with the Brian Anderson. I could have been down with the Brian Anderson World Series. But it's not like we're getting anyone short of A+.
Yeah.
I just wish maybe it would have been hyped up a little bit more.
What about Meredith Marakovitz?
Oh, I love Meredith. Come on, dude. Meredith's awesome.
Amazing.
She's a trooper. She's a trooper in there in the locker room, just getting doused with champagne. Her hair's probably sticky and disgusting. God, that's got to be such a terrible job.
Meredith Marakovitz is now family.
Oh, dude, 100%. She's in the Yankee family for sure. Meredith's so lovable, dude. Come on, we love Meredith.
Yeah. She is relatable. I mean, what a kick-ass job.
Super relatable, super normal, she feels like. And I love when she makes fun of Michael K, because Michael K for sure takes himself too seriously at times.
Let me ask you about Michael K and his ability to, because I think about this, like in my career, how do you think he balances being a play-by-play guy and also being a talk show host?
That's interesting. And I will say I give K a ton of respect too, because he kind of like toes the line, man. And he may actually go over it at times. Remember last year when we sucked bad and Michael K was on the radio just like flaming the front office, who like they sign his paychecks on the other end of the spectrum, you know?
Yeah.
Dude, I respect Michael K for that, because I feel like he's pretty unbiased. And through it all, you got to remember that like Michael K's a New Yorker, grew up in the area, been a Yankee fan since he's probably 3 years old.
Sports writer,
So
he was calling games, correct?
yeah, I think so. But I remember he used to alternate with Sterling and then Charlie Steiner back in the olden days of the 90s. Shout out Charlie Steiner.
Charlie Steiner's amazing.
That's our boy.
He's still alive.
I was talking about him.
Dodgers.
Huh?
He'll be in the Dodgers radio booth.
Oh, he is still doing it? Nice, dude. That's sick. Him and Sterling, two legends.
Yeah.
In the radio booth. That's fire.
Nick, and that lends to how amazing this World Series is. You know
I think this is the coolest thing ever. If you I'm gonna say this too. If you, and there's been a lot of people, hate on this World Series, you have a big fat dump in your pants, because this is so cool. This is exactly what the game of baseball needed. Every storyline, the top 4 players of the past 5 years are all in this World Series. California guys that play for the Yankees, guys that shun the Yankees to go to the Dodgers, vice versa. Ohtani versus Judge, Aaron Boone and Dave Roberts have their own like playoff magic to them. Remember, like I mean, if Aaron Boone wins his World Series, like God, he's going to be the manager forever. Shoot me, but the storylines are all there. It's everything you've ever wanted. This is what baseball needed. And if you hate on it, you're a loser.
All right, Nick, we're going to talk to you next Tuesday night, or next Tuesday or Wednesday. We'll schedule it out. All right.
Well, so we got Friday tonight and tomorrow.
Yeah. And then Monday we'll talk
Sunday break.
Game 3 or 4.
All right. Vibe check after one of the games.
All right. You got it, man. Nick, you're the best, dude.
Let's go Yankees.
All right. Let's go, Nick. That's Nick Pick on the Pete Sousa Show, powered by the Rogue Media Network. We'll be right back.
It's the Pete Sousa Show. Sports Pete.
All in Sports Network. We love sports.
And Betts is back. We don't need an intro. We just bring them right on. Corey Dickman is here. A little bit of peacocking already today. And really, I said, Corey, don't hide from last week. He said, oh, there's no hiding.
There's no hiding. You know, I told last week we had a little dip, right? We admitted that, or 2 weeks ago we admitted that. You know, and I come back because I said, Pete, it's an up and down game. Okay, the sports betting world, you're going to win some, you're going to lose some. And I showed up last time. We went through the losses. Well, this time we get to go through the wins. So are you ready?
Let me hear. I know UCLA came through again.
We're going to end with them. They're our team. Georgia plus 4.5. They were, that looked like comfortable. Then UT started to kind of creep back a little bit. Got what within 8. I think that might have been the closest. They got 23. 15-point
spread.
And then Georgia just ran away with it. So that was comfortable. We weren't sweating that at all. And then I got to do the voice. My boy, Avery Johnson, quarterback of Kansas State. The slaughter. That I told you, 2.5, minus 2.5.
The guy, by the way, he was playing with a hurt hip. And so people thought that they were going to take advantage of that.
Yeah.
And he just threw the whole game.
He just threw the whole game. Man.
300 yards, 298 yards.
Poor West Virginia. The Mountaineers, they're still reeling from that loss. And then our team. The Fighting Bruins of UCLA. Do you know how the chant goes, Pete? I'll do it real quick.
I'm sure you're going to tell us about your visit.
UCLA, UCLA, let's go Bears. That's what they chant. I've been to many NCAA tournament games with UCLA there. I have it memorized. They go to Rutgers. And Pete, did they cover? Yes. Did they win? They won. These guys, that's all they do is
Good
cover.
for Deshaun Foster. I'm pumped.
Huge, dude.
Yeah.
I would have picked them this week, except they aren't a bye. So it's okay, which maybe that doesn't bode well for us. But so college, we're 3-0 last week. We're 9-6 on the season. We're above. We're at that 60% mark.
So this is your week where you can separate. Tell me about
this
NFL
has to
first.
be, dude. This is separation Sunday right here. Isn't that a term?
Yeah, well, it's a
selection Sunday. Oh, that's what it is. Yeah. So we're gonna separate. But before we pick this week, we got to talk about the NFL. It wasn't quite as good, but we went 2-1. We hit the mortgage bet, so you paid your mortgage, which is good. Cincinnati, remember we had them at -1, a 2-team teaser, along with the Seahawks plus 7.5. The Bengals won by a touchdown over the poor Browns, and then the Seahawks won that game outright against the Falcons. Like went -7. You could have made some serious money on that game, but so we covered the tees, which was great. Detroit, we had the money line. I'm not going to sit here and just brag. That was a close game, although the Vikings had to come back and actually were leading there at the end, and then Detroit wins it on a field goal. So we had the money line.
A win is a win is a win.
A win is a win. And then just that weird Texans-Packers game. I'm off taking the over on the Packers games. The Packers put up 24 points, which I said they'll get close to 30, but the Texans scored 22, so it was 46 combined. We needed 48. So we lost it by 2 stinking points. So that was our one NFL loss. So 2-1 in the NFL, 3-0 in college. I'll have to get the NFL record. I'll tell you next week because I just am so excited about college. So, but that was last week, Pete. Not bad.
Not bad at all.
Good bounce back.
Yeah.
Okay. So Separation Friday. That's what this is going to be called. Separation Friday. Okay. Ready? We're going to start with college. USC. So not UCLA, but the Trojans. The Fighting Trojans? Is that what they're called? No?
No, I don't think so.
They're not the Fighting Trojans.
Yeah. Fight on Trojans.
They're just the Trojans.
Fight on USC.
Have you been to that campus? You been there?
I know it's in a bad neighborhood.
It's in a sketchy neighborhood. I toured it. I thought I was going to go to college there. The campus is beautiful, right?
Yeah,
and
the
then
Coliseum's rough.
Oh, yeah. You leave you go out the gates and onto the road.
But I'll tell you real quick, I'm dying to go there because there's so much history there. I got to see it.
Dude, it's incredible. Growing up on the West Coast, we weren't USC fans. Obviously, I grew up in Oregon, but it's still, you had to kind of respect the institution. They got Rutgers traveling to USC. So little connection from last week ish. USC minus 13.5. We love the 13. If you can get the plus 6.5, minus 13.5, minus 2.5. We love those. USC minus 13.5 against a Rutgers team who's reeling from a loss against UCLA, traveling to USC. USC is going to cover.
Yes.
They're going to win this game. They're going to cover 14 or more points. Easy peasy, Pete. That's
Okay.
going to be a win right there. And then we had to pick this game. Notre Dame going to the midshipmen of Navy, Pete.
Undefeated Navy team.
Undefeated 6-0. You're giving Navy 12.5 points against a Notre Dame team that I don't think has the step on the throat.
Lost to Northern Illinois.
It was like a gross game. It was
Yeah.
like 16-14 or something
Yeah.
like that. Give me Navy in the points, Pete. I
I'm
think
in on
this is the military's year. Army, Navy, Air Force.
I got one for you.
Hit me.
What about the money line on that game? That might be nice to have some fun with.
Oh, you want me to look that up just real quick?
Mm.
Like the money line for the midshipmen Navy, and shout out to Jared, my best friend Jared, his Uncle Bud. If you're listening, he's a Navy guy. Plus 360. So you get $100 in, you get $360 out. That's not too bad. I mean, for the sake of my record, I can't.
No, I don't want you to do that.
Okay,
I may flush my own.
But you're kind of leaning that way, maybe.
I think that's first of all. This is how I lose, because it's fun and exciting.
Yeah.
Who doesn't want Navy to win at home over Notre Dame? And they're a 6-0.
They're 6-0.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. So give me that plus 12.5. This one I was a little shaky on, but I feel like this is how it's going to play out. Florida State, did you know they got demoted? They're now a Division II school.
Oh,
did you hear about that? Crazy.
No.
Florida State traveling to Miami. There is a ton of Miami just gets all the Florida recruits. These Florida State, there's probably going to be 9 players that transfer after this game because Miami, Pete, they're minus 20.5. They're going to lay the smack. This is the rock, the smackdown on their candy ass. This is what's happening. 20.5. Miami, I get it. Should have lost to Cal. Last week they skate by. This week they're gonna blow out Florida State because this is a state thing. Florida State probably over the last 10 years, 15 years, really would say they've been the better program overall than Miami during that time, right? So now this is payback time. Miami's gonna slaughter them.
It's a recruiting opportunity.
A huge recruiting opportunity. Yeah. You've seen those videos, man, where they'll go to the student section or the recruits where they're at the game and they're like, come to Miami, come to Miami. Yeah. This is gonna be all of that in a bag of chips. Give me Miami minus 20.5. Again, we like the 20.5 because it's 21 points. We still cover there. So Miami.
All right.
Florida State, Pete, they're a corpse.
Well, they're in free fall too, and I think what you get there is the possibility that guys will take their foot off the gas and kind of quit on Mike Norvell, which is
I think it's a bummer, man. You never want to see that. But sorry, Paul Catalina, who's a friend of the show here. That's just
they're not Florida State fan.
He went to Florida State.
Oh, he did?
Oh, yeah, man. Paul Catalina, he could tell you some tell you some Florida State stories if you want to hear.
Oh, I think I'd like that, actually.
All right, you ready? That's the college. That's going to be our 3-0 slate. We're going to get to 12-6 after this. That's the bet. Okay. All right, you ready? NFL?
I think everybody's always ready for the
Okay, I gotta channel my inner Pete here. I got my Philly hat on. I'm not picking Philly in this, but I'll wear the hat. The Lions, they did us well. They got the money line win. Well, actually, hold on.
The Lions, this is a 12 p.m. game at Fox.
Well, hold on.
Fox.
Can we go back to that? That? My apologies. Okay. I want to start Baltimore at Cleveland.
Okay.
Over 44.5. Okay. Baltimore still has Lamar. They still have Derrick Henry. They got receivers-ish on the team. And Cleveland, you know who's starting? You know who they're putting in this week, Pete?
Yeah, John, what's his face?
Jameis Winston, the pride of Florida State. Yeah. Jameis is going to sling the ball, Pete. 44.5 is way too low.
Okay.
We're taking the over on that.
Jameis, I think, is speaking of 40. I think he's one of the only 40-40 quarterback or 30-30, 30 interceptions, 30 touchdowns.
He probably is, year. The man has a 5,000-yard season under his belt. It doesn't matter who's out there for Cleveland. I know they traded Cooper. They got Chubb back. They're going to put some points up.
He will put points up. That's a really good point.
All Cleveland's got to do here is score like 19 points, and I think Baltimore will do the rest. So over 44.5 feels like a slam dunk. And then this game just lost a little bit of luster, this next one. Bears at Commanders. This would have been Caleb Williams versus Jaden Daniels. I don't think Jaden is going to play. They're 5-2. They're not going to put their rookie quarterback out there with a weird rib injury. No. I could be wrong. Maybe he will play. But as far as the
when
spread,
is this game?
This game is at 3:25 Central Time.
Got it.
So afternoon slot
in DC.
In
Maryland.
DC. Give me again the over here. My theme of these is backup quarterbacks. They're not getting love. Marcus Mariota, shout out to Oregon. He played really well last week in the taking over for Jaden Daniels after he got hurt. He came 2 touchdowns, like 200 yards. Like Marcus played a really good game.
Yeah.
I think he can still keep this Commander offense humming. And Chicago can score points too. Neither of these two defenses are.
So we're going over again?
Oh, we're going over. I'm sorry. 43.5. This is obvious over here. Give me Bears 28-25. I don't know. It doesn't matter. It's going to go over. So I like the Commanders winning the game, but
the
Commander, and they could. It's a home game. We'll see. But both these teams, I think, would be considered surprises right now, right?
For sure.
Yes. So over 43.5 on that game. So those are the 2 NFL games that we're picking. We're both going the theme today, Pete, right? It was overs with the backup quarterbacks, Jameis and Marcus.
Okay.
All right. Now you got to pay your mortgage. Okay. We're good right now. Everybody, they called their bankers last week. They had the money to pay their house note, which was great. We're going to do it again this week. At the top, I kind of spoiled it. I said Detroit. We're going to pick Detroit in this. I'm sorry, Mike Hamilton is our guy here. His team, the Titans, are laying 11.5. Oh, that is not nice. Not pretty.
No.
We're going to take the Lions here, but we're going to tease it down, Pete, right? Remember,
this is where
the mortgages are a 2-team teaser.
This is where we get in trouble.
This is where we make money, not get in trouble.
Okay.
-7. We get the Lions at -7 here. So in case there's a little hiccup here, ties are never any fun, but we could push on this. But -7, give us the Lions at -7. And then we're going to pair this with Giants heading to Steelers.
Okay.
I think the Steelers feel like a renewed team right now with my old love interest, Russell Wilson. Led me to a Super Bowl. Should have been a second
Monday
one.
night.
Yeah, should have been 2. I don't know why we didn't run the ball.
Yeah.
Cam Stewart's in here, and he's probably happy about that. I would say Russ guides the ship here. The Steelers are favored by 6.5 points against the lowly Giants. This is at home in Pittsburgh. Now we get them at -2.
By the way,
the
line I'm looking at right now is they're -6.
So -6. So now 1.5.
Yeah.
-1.5.
Yeah.
The kicker for Pittsburgh, Boswell, he's on like 3 of my fantasy teams. This guy's like my MVP. So they're going to win this game by a field goal. Give me Pittsburgh -1.5 because the updated line in the teaser. So Detroit -7, Pittsburgh -1.5. Come on, man. Is that
By the way, what about the over-under in that game? Is 36.5.
It's 36.5.
Wow.
I can't, man. Pitt,
No,
I think I picked the under for Pitt, like 2 weeks ago against the Raiders, and they scored.
It's 36.5 for a reason.
Yeah, I can't do it.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, I have a bonus for you.
Let's go.
Okay, but this is what I call a keep me accountable bet.
Okay.
Because this is an NBA bet for tonight.
Oh boy.
So we're recording this on a Thursday.
Yes.
So you're going to hear this.
Okay.
After
This is the accountability bet.
This is the accountability bet. And I own it. I'm coming. And we'll bring it up. Okay. Right. Celtics tonight against the Wizards. Minus what do you think it would be, Pete? If we did guess the lines, what do you think that line should be?
I was looking it up.
Don't look. Did you look?
I didn't look. Nope.
Okay. Celtics at Washington. The Washington Wizards. Just throw it out.
Celtics -4.
-4?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, you're gonna think I'm crazy then. It's -14.
Wow.
Pete, the Wizards are terrible.
But how can they suck so bad so quickly? I mean, really?
Look at their roster. They already are I've seen the Cooper Flag jerseys. Because I have one for Portland already.
Yeah.
So I know Washington wants one too. So -14. The Celtics, all they do is blow people out.
Yeah.
14 is cakewalk. I think this is a no-brainer. Celtics -14. Okay. And then I'm just picking all the people in the room right now. The Spurs traveling to the Mavericks tonight, the bitter rivalry. What would you think the spread is? What's the line?
Spurs at Mavs.
Yeah.
I'm going to say Mavs -7.5.
Okay, you're cooking. They're -8.5.
Okay.
Give me Spurs +8.5. Give me Wemby. Give me Vassell. Give me my boy Zach Collins. They're going to come out. Chris Paul, he's going to orchestrate. I would take the win here. I would go money line Spurs. But we're going to, for the sake of the record here, 8.5. Give me Spurs +8.5. Okay.
Will you bet on these games for real?
Oh, I will bet on these games for real. I have to work through a friend, but yes, I'll bet on these games for real. Sacramento. We got
October basketball. That is great.
There may have been some bets last night. It was a slam dunk bet
Yeah.
of the opening night last night,
Yeah.
and I know I can show the receipts. 2-team teaser. It was the Suns. They were -5. They were favored by 5 against the Clippers. The Clippers are terrible.
Yeah.
Like, they're not good. So I had the Suns minus like 1.5 or half a point. So they just had to win the game against the Clippers. And then the Blazers, they were +7.5 against Golden State. We're like, us as a community in Rip City, we need to go 0-82. We have no business winning any game. So that was the easiest tease. Got the Golden State Warriors at -2.5 there. I won't disclose how much I put on it, but easy win. Although the Suns game did go to overtime, but they did end up winning.
I love how you're not telling us. So as far as I'm concerned, it was either $5 or $1 million.
It was more than 5. It was a little stressful. It was a little stressful last night. My wife had to go to bed because I was stressing her out. So, but anyway, okay. So back to this real quick. Minnesota at Sacramento. Sacramento +1.
So we're still going?
Oh, this is tonight. This is my check. This is my check. So Sacramento +1. They're going to get the home win tonight against Minnesota. Minnesota, I don't think will figure themselves out until 20 games in.
All right.
I think the Karl Anthony Towns deal is a bigger thing than everybody makes it out to be.
Yeah.
So I think they're going to have some speed bumps. And then the last one, OKC travels to Denver. Oklahoma City, what do you think the spread is on this one, Pete? Who's favored? OKC at Denver.
Denver -1.5.
Oh, you're okay. We need to do this every week. They're -2.
Okay.
I think OKC comes in and gets the win. I think OKC is going to lay the smack down this year. Denver just feels like a team reeling. I get Jokic. I understand. But I think Oklahoma City now has the bigs to deal with Jokic. They come and get the W tonight in Denver. So I got them at +2. So the quick recap so we can keep track and how I do. Boston -14. Spurs +8.5. Sacramento +1. OKC +2. And let's just see. Let's see how it goes. Because as you're listening to this, you can go check your ESPN app and either be like, dang, Corey knows what he's talking about, or be like, wow, don't listen to that guy anymore.
I would like to think that the guy betting on 4 NBA games in the later stages of October either knows what he's doing or we're putting him in a car to go someplace for treatment. So let's hope that you know what you're doing.
I have a great support team from our Blazers Edge staff. You know, we're all Blazers guys, but we have a great crew that's.
Well, I was about to say, it probably means a lot for you guys if the Blazers do. I guess maybe even if you're in free fall for the number 1 pick, that might be better.
Oh, it has to be better. Yeah. The people in Portland, they don't, from a basketball perspective, most of them just love being like the 7th seed and just us losing in the first round. Yeah. There's too many Portland people, Oregonians, that enjoy that, and we're done. We can't be that team anymore. We have to either tank, get the best players, and then go contend, or just contend. But this whole middle ground thing, so these last 2 seasons have been hard, I think, for Trailblazers fans, because the goal has been to lose. Yeah. And I know that sucks. Last night, I will say, and I do a Blazers podcast called Rip City Roundtable.
Yeah, podcast. I saw,
And I will say last night, our opening night, was pathetic. The effort shown against the Warriors was sad.
So there's an effort problem.
It was, we need to lose games. And
Who's your coach?
Chauncey Billups.
Oh gosh, that's right.
Billups, Chauncey Billups, and we're not a winning organization at all, or a winning team under Chauncey. But it was pathetic. It was like I threw the iPad a few times. And I want to lose, but not like that.
Yeah.
I mean, just loose balls, like not cherry picking. The Golden State Warriors were just making us look foolish, and they're not even that good. Like this is not the Warriors team of 2017, 2018, 2019. This is not that team.
Well, when you're talking about effort, that's issues.
Oh, it's
early
bad.
In the season like this.
We're in the Blazers. We're the youngest team in the NBA. The effort should never be. These guys should be running around like chickens with their head cut. And it was just like, we're just gonna let them get that loose ball and lay it up uncontested. It was just sickening.
All right, so we've covered it all. NFL.
We've covered it all.
NBA.
Sorry, this is a long one today.
Corey Dickman, hey, honestly, I'm captivated with your passion for early season NBA bets. All right, Corey Dickman, all in bets, accountability bets, everything's in. We're going to talk to you next Friday. We're going to rehash it all. But in the meantime, if you want to win some money, go ahead, get in with Corey. We'll be right back. The Pete Sousa Show, powered by the Rogue Media Network.
All in Sports Network. We love sports.
It's the Pete Sousa Show. Sports, Pete.
Hey, Pete, I just want to tell you how much we miss you being in the studio. Cam's not been the same. None of us really have been the same since you've been gone. Also want to put out good thoughts for Zach on his road to recovery. And tell everybody to go vote. Go vote, everybody. Come back, Pete.
All In Bets is back. We don't need.
Okay, the sports betting world. You're gonna win some.
It's the Pete Sousa Show. Sports, Pete. It's the Pete Sousa Show. Sports, Pete.
We are Rogue Media Sports.